Enormous financial strain on farmers in Graaff Rienet area in the Eastern Cape, and with no rain since February, extreme heat has destroyed vegetation. Farmers have had to spend money simply to, well, keep their animals alive, and to date livestock producers had been forced to reduce their herds by between 50 and 70%, we're told. Let's get the very latest now. Lerato Thipa is keeping a close eye on the situation. Let me bring her in. Lerato, very good morning to you. How concerned are farmers there?
Farmers here are really concerned with the drought that they say is the worst drought in over 40 years. Just earlier on, we spoke to a farmer who is the owner of this specific farm, and he was saying that he has survived 4 droughts. But in all those survival of those 4 droughts, this is the worst to have ever hit this area. This area is called the gem of the Karoo because it is the lifeblood, which is the agriculture sector, the lifeblood of the Eastern Cape. So people here are really saying that if this sector, which is contributing so much the GDP of the country and the Eastern Cape, dies, what there is available then for the Eastern Cape in terms of economic development for this area? We drove around many other farms here, Blaine, and what we saw was a sorry sight. Dead animals, especially the weaker animals, are the ones that are really struggling to survive the scorching heat. The temperature today is 33. Yesterday it was 30, and there is no other rain forecasted in the next few months. So the farmers here are really remaining faithful and hopeful and praying for rain, because since February only 22 millimeters of rain has fallen in this area. So really bad situations. There's no grass on the ground, there's nothing for the sheep or the cows to eat, and farmers are then forced to take fodder to the animals, which is coming at a really hefty price. Frustrated, angry and desperate for rain, this farmer is one of many who are feeling the ripple effect of the drought. They are calling it the worst drought in over 40 years. It has rendered parts of the Karoo barren.
I'm currently running a loss of, my guesstimate, around about 600,000 rand loss for this year. Due to loss of production, loss of animals, we had to reduce our stock numbers. In the past, we used to sell interlinks of food and fodder to neighbouring farms and so on. This year we've had to buy in, so absolutely nothing. We've got no feed whatsoever to feed the animals, yeah.
It's much the same for neighbouring farms. It's midday and Hendrik Wolfart in the scorching sun is feeding his sheep for the second time in one day. Without the feed, his animals would be dead.
For me, the most difficult is seeing my animals go hungry and some of them even dying. And economically, for me, it's not knowing where the money is going to come from to feed the animals. We do a budget every 6 months, but at the moment, I don't know if I'll have enough money to feed them until December.
Just 23 millimeters of rain has fallen since the beginning of the year. Feeding the animals costs an average 25,000 rand a month. Even then, for some, it's just not enough. In Aberdeen, the situation is the same. Not a blade of grass to be found.
A major sort of issue is going to be in a year's time if we do have rain. Herd sizes or flock sizes of breeding ewes are right down, numbers wise. Guys have had to offload stock to get them off their ground to try and feed just a sort of nucleus flock to keep going. So in a year's time, or Lord forbid when it does rain and the guys want to get back into full production, they're not going to be in a position to get into full production.
Agriculture is a massive economic driver in the province. With no rain in the long-term forecast, farmers are pleading for the government to intervene.
We've had absolutely no assistance from the state to this point, and we are going to approach them again so that they can help the farm once the drought is broken, to then give them or provide cheap loans or cheap loans that can be serviced over a longer period, and so that we can then restock our properties.
The Nqoba Dam is a dust bowl. All that remains is a stench of dead fish. NGOs have managed to bring a small amount of water relief to some of the drought-stricken towns. Just to put into perspective the contribution this sector is contributing to the Eastern Cape, in the first quarter, Blaine, of 2019, the Eastern Cape agricultural sector contributed 12% to job creation in this province, a province that you're well aware of is facing a number of socio-economic problems. So the farmers here are saying that we are the producers of milk, we are the producers of citrus, we are the producers of wool, and if the sector is not saved by the government as they are asking for contributions and loans, then this crucial sector of the Eastern Cape is going to be affected. So the farmers are really asking for a loan and really saying that in 2016 there was a total amount of 20 million rand that was allocated to different provinces facing a drought, and to date that money which was sent from national government hasn't trickled down to the province and even hasn't trickled down even to the people, the farmers who are being affected. So farmers really frustrated, saying that they have no other hope but the government to come and assist them in terms of financial assistance to try and keep their productive animals in a productive state.
Yeah, look, it's a dire situation, and not only in the Eastern Cape, but also in the Northern Cape. I remember yesterday, Ulrich Hendricks, a reporter there, was speaking to one of the farmers, and he said the last time they saw rain in that particular area was in February 2012. So it gives you a sense of how, stark and dire the situation is. Lerato, what about tourism? This drought, is it drying up tourism in the area?
Graaff Rienet is known as the gem of the Karoo. It's got beautiful, if you go into the town itself, it's got beautiful buildings, old ancient buildings. At the B&B that we're staying at, we had many visitors who were coming down and they're saying that they've heard about the drought in the national news, but because this town is so beautiful, it's got such a rich history, they feel that they want to be part of this town and take a look at this town. So at this stage, because the gift of the givers have come in to try and assist the town, people are still flocking in, tourists are still flocking in to come and see this beautiful Karoo, which got scenic views, mountains, and so much to offer to the South African community and tourists as well.
All right, Lerato, it's a very important story. Thank you very much indeed for keeping a close eye on it. We'll try to catch up with you a little later on. Lerato Thipa there, live for us in the Eastern Cape. Thank you.